King and Void, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm running late. We'll get started here in just a minute. The stupid pre-roll ads started, so once those are done, I got about a minute and 20 seconds. We're gonna hit this. Alrighty. What's up, everyone? Hope everybody's having a badass Monday night. Alright, hold on. The ads are almost done. Yeah, there we go. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Today, it's not been a bad day. It's just been kind of a scattered day. And the reason I was late tonight is because I had to go deal with one of my chickens. So they're little chickens, right? I've only had them, I don't know. I think I got them beginning of May. So they're like 3-4 weeks old. They were probably like a week or two old when I got them. So let's say they're 6 weeks old. They're not very big, not yay big. And my dog, Panda, just loves the chickens and doesn't get to see them because they're just usually sequestered into the brooder, right? This little area for them to get used to life until they go outside. Well, I want them to start getting used to outside. I'm actually building a coop for them this weekend. And so I put them in my garden because my garden is this U-shaped garden and it's got a little open spot in it and it has a gate. Well, apparently Panda was just doing Panda things and jumping all over it and busted in the gate. So I go out there, the chickens are, only one of them's loose, like out of the thing. But apparently that chicken, Panda, just licked into PTSD. Because that's what she does. She gives puppy kisses. And so I go pick this chicken up and I'm looking it over. I don't see any blood. I don't see any bite marks or anything. But the chicken's like wet. I'm like, Panda just licked you all over, didn't she? So I had to kind of watch this chicken as it has this like existential crisis, like, I came this close to dying. So that kind of took a little bit extra time than I had expected getting everything running. So I apologize for running late tonight. Oh, let's load up the lab. Okay, cool. Looks like the screen's aligned properly. Awesome. Yeah, so, weird stuff I never thought I would have to deal with. Not just on Monday, on any day. Dealing with chickens with PTSD. I have a DFIR's lab to knock out soon. Yeah. Are you doing that on Try Hack Me Void? Doing a new flavor of Jocko tonight. Whoop Assault. It's watermelon flavored. It's not bad. Watermelon's not my favorite flavor, but I've definitely tasted worse drinks. Oh, what are you doing it on? Or is it for college, or I'm just curious. DFIR reports started doing labs. Hold on. By the way, this was me trying to figure out what I wanted to put in the tagline for the stream earlier. I was like, maybe AI can give me some hints. It's not this Visit Void, or is it, I don't know which program you're referencing there. Although this looks like actually a pretty cool site. This is it? Okay. Oh, Deefer Labs. Here we go. Ooh, interesting. All right. I need to go make a note of this over in the Discord because I wanted to have a resources section over there. Very nice. Where did I put that? Where could I put that? Hang on one sec, y'all. Let me go into OPSEC mode real quick so I can drop this in some notes I don't usually access. But I want to put this up there real quick. Someplace I'm not going to lose this. Okay, cool. Got it. All right, there we go. That's cool. Thanks for showing that to me because, like I said, I want stuff in there for my blue team folks as well. Oh, damn it. I just realized I forgot to do something. Fix that. Fix this. I forgot I had monitors set up. Oh, also, I got a message back from some guy. Let's see. All right, this stuff's all running now. Perfect. Yeah, they have labs. What is wrong with you? Go away. My chat window just started spazzing out. There we go. All right, so they have labs. A labs tab now. Report articles are pretty great on the blue team side of observables live fire scenarios. That's cool. Yeah, so it looks like they're going to give you system logs, network logs, and memory logs. That's cool. And Sigma alerts. It's a shame they don't have Ligma alerts. That's a shame. Oh, okay. So they just charge a little bit for it. Ligma, yeah. You don't know what Ligma is? Ligma balls! Thank you, Ping. Chat. Yeah. We like to keep things very classy around here. Oh, what is up here? Come on. I don't know what is going on with... I don't know what's going on with Apache Guacamole now. Probably I need to reboot this computer. I do so much on it now that it just starts bogging. Yeah. Also Leroy Jenkins, yes. When I start racing, so I'm going to start practicing on the YFZ 450 that I rebuilt coming up this summer. And as I'm practicing in the anticipation that usually we can go practice like every weekend. So that's really great during the summer. As long as it's not raining, usually we're out there practicing. But if I can get a good amount of practice in, I was going to start racing the second half of the season, which picks up in August, I think. And that's pretty much going to be my approach to the racing. It's just Leroy Jenkins. It's going to take a little bit getting used to because the four-wheeler I'm used to riding, it's called a Blaster. And the Blaster is a 250cc two-stroke, which is roughly equivalent to a 450 to 500cc four-stroke. So the two strokes, ramp higher, put out more power, are way less efficient fuel-wise, right? They burn a lot more fuel. They're the engines that use a mixture of fuel and oil. But the new one I'm going to be racing is actually a 450cc two-stroke. So it, in theory, should be about the same power, but the 250 is stock, and the 450 has been tuned and modded to hell because it actually was my my father-in-law's race bike before he got himself a new one. And he's been doing motocross for like 30 years. Probably closer to 40 years at this point, actually. I can't go to a motocross event without people yelling his name. He knows all of them. And so, it's going to have a lot of power. It'll be scary. All right, can you recommend some beginner war game stuff to learn? It depends on what you want to learn, Ping. Any particular topic. If not, I've got one in mind that is kind of a fun one. Let's go get us a couple of beacons real fast here. Let's get us a Workstation 1 beacon. We'll get us our Workstation 1 fired up here. Get a call back. Oh wait, actually, we wanted Workstation 2. Actually. Yeah, there we go. We want Bob Farmer because he's the lower level guy here. I just had an idea like what script I want to work on tonight. We're gonna do some more aggressor script stuff. Um, but Snap Labs, I need to set up on fire. Dude, Snap Labs is legit. Um, and it's really simple. So long as you have an AWS account, you link it over to your AWS account. It deploys the control boxes over there, and it's great. I think you want to be very careful watching your usage, because I'm not sure how accurate their hourly lab estimation is in there. So like we can come over here, like if I went to range templates. So in the RTO stuff, what we're doing is we get provisioned a lab as an event in here. So this is the Red Team Ops lab. And so you see this one runs through July 4th. And this is what gives me access to the Red Team Ops lab in particular. But they also have range templates over here. So eventually what I'll do is I will connect this over to an AWS account that's owned by the stream. And we'll be able to go deploy other labs in there, because they've got a whole bunch in here. Like Shirk Corp, Eagle Bank, Spark Studio. They're very cool. Let's look at, actually, for my Blue Team guys, here's one that's called Heimdall. It's for detection engineering. I actually haven't looked at this one. I've looked at the other ones. Yeah, look at that. Look at this lab. That is legit. That is cool. So you've got you have Asgard and Bifrost over here. And so it looks like an Asgard, you probably got like all your, I don't know what these are. I guess they've got them labeled as like red team boxes, but yeah, exactly. So here's the cost estimate I was talking about though. This estimates it should cost 71 cents an hour, let's say. Not bad, right? However, I don't know how accurate this is, because I have a little bit of a weird setup where I was doing this. I was actually testing it with my work AWS instance. Asked my boss if I could tinker with it some. He's like, yeah, sure. Just try to keep it like under a certain dollar amount. I was like, yeah, no problem. Because like the most expensive lab I think I remember seeing in here was Shirk Corp, I think. Yeah, Shirk Corp was $1.15 an hour. Eagle Bank, $1.15. And then what else? Spark Studio. Yeah, I think I remember that. I remembered it was being like wasn't more than 120 an hour. But look at this thing. Look at this lab. This is a legit lab going on here. So you've got your Kali attack box in here, or you can connect through a VPN, and then you can come in and hit like the admin. There's admin boxes in here. It does have internet connectivity, so if you wanted to actually try like having your C2 stuff deployed to the internet and have redirectors, you could test that out. But then look, we got workstations, app signing server, all these guys. So this is pretty cool. But yeah, so in theory, it should only be $1.15 an hour. But keep in mind, that is an estimated cost. I suspect it's a little bit higher, but I haven't gotten a clear-cut picture of it yet, because I haven't tinkered with it enough to know what the actual price is going to be. Oh, so you're checking because you played on one for an hour? Okay. Yeah, let me know what you see on it. We go to events. Actually, one thing else is cool is, let's say we go to Shirk Corp here. We go to documents. It gives a complete overview of it. And there's also like the administrator readme file, like, hey, here's where all the subnets are. Here's all the systems, the username and the password. So you can actually get access to these various boxes, just like we do in the RTO lab. The only difference is in the RTO lab, the VPN is disabled. There's no VPN entrance to it. And then over here in the documents, it still kind of gives the same thing. See, it says it right down here at the bottom. A little hard to read, but it says this is a closed lab environment. There's no outbound internet access, and inbound traffic from SnapLab's VPN is disabled. So this was a condition that Rasta had to put in to be able to use Cobalt Strike. I think that was the only condition they asked for. So I wish we could go upload files to it. There should be a way to do that through Guacamole, but I don't think SnapLabs themselves have actually implemented it. 58 cents. Nice. All right, cool. All right, so Ping, you were asking about war games. There is crap, what is it called? Trying to remember. Now, when you said, I was trying to ask, like, was it war games like multiplayer, like kind of like a King of the Hill style thing, or just like exercises to test out. But let's see, there was Smash the Stack War game. I don't remember what it's called. There was one in here. Dang it, I'm trying to remember what it's called. They have to be a KMS bundled image. What's KMS? I don't remember. KMS hairstyle? Oh, AWS Key Management Service. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. I knew it was an AWS something. I just thought it was funny that KMS hair came up as the first thing. Let me look. Okay, binary exploitation. Okay. I think this one might be one. So there's Ret 2 systems out here. I don't remember if this one was a free one though. Bandit? Oh, this one's a purchasable course. It was based off of another system though. Over the Wire. There we are. That's what I was trying to remember. So Over the Wire, I'll drop this over in the chat. Let's see. So Over the Wire, Ping is a whole bunch of really cool war games in here, and one of them here is which one is this? I'm trying to remember. And the way you connect to these actually is you just go connect to a host on a port. That's it. It's all just kind of open. Let's see. What are the war games we have there though? It's Bandit. Aimed at absolute beginners, teaches basics needed to play other war games. If you notice something essential is missing or you have ideas for a new level, please let us know. Okay. One of these in here, though, maybe it's Vortex. Vortex War Game, currently composed of 27 levels. Most of the files you need are in /Vortex. It doesn't explain what Vortex is, though. One of these in Over the Wire, though, is... actually is like a binary exploitation one. So if you were curious in that, it actually walks you through basic stack smashing and then works up from there. Oh, this is cool. Leviathan is a war game that's been rescued from the demise of Intruded.net, previously hosted on Leviathan.intruded.net. Big thanks to ADC, Morla, and Reth for their help resurrecting the game. Okay. This war game doesn't require any knowledge about programming, just a bit of common sense and some knowledge about basic Nix commands. Okay, interesting. Not the one I was looking for, though. I think it is Vortex, actually, because look at this. It's actually, hey, here's reading material. So it tells you, hey, go read Smashing the Stack for Fun and Profit, and then Smashing the Modern Stack for Fun and Profit. So, yeah, look at the... I'm actually going to append this, Vortex in particular. Make sure that works. That does work. So Vortex would be one if you wanted to learn binary exploitation. That's a really good one. I went through some of these levels back in the day. I need to go through it again. All right. Anyway, let's hop back over to here. All right, so we were waiting for Workstation 2 to boot up so we could get our initial access beacon. We're going to run a little PowerShell. Go. There we go. Got it. And then let's do, let's set this to be interactive. So the UAC bypasses, I was actually talking to another friend of mine who is a professional red teamer. And I was asking him about this for UAC bypasses. You know, it's something we've been working on for quite a bit. And his recommendation, which we've seen in the lab, it made sense. As soon as I talked to him about this, it made complete sense, was UAC bypasses tend to be very noisy and easy to detect. So avoid doing them, basically. They're not really OPSEC safe. But there are other things we can do to escalate aside from doing a UAC bypass. So I thought we might go take a look at some of those. Let's pull up our notes for Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code. And then what we'll do is we're going to try and automate some more of this stuff over in the aggressor scripts. Like, for example, we might want to make one for seatbelt. So how do we register a base command? Let's see. Because, like, we don't want to just register the elevate command. We want to register, like, the base command. Let's see. Functions. Add visualization. Register a visualization with Cobalt Strike. Beacon command register. Oh, okay. Register help information for a beacon command. Oh, that's what I want. Oh, okay, so here's our alias echo, beacon command register. Okay, that might work. So commands, get a list of beacon commands. Beacon data. We might be able to use this, beacon command register. Let's see what else we have this listed here. Because sometimes, remember, we've been using things like beacon elevator register and beacon exploit register. And that registers it to a couple of different base commands, either the elevate command or, crap, what was the other one? To the jump command. So we want to do that a little bit differently. We want to actually make our own base command. And I was thinking about it, a program that has lots of cool, interesting things to it is seatbelt. So maybe we could do that around seatbelt. Let's go see if our notes came back yet. Why is this all weird? I don't know. We reconnect to it because for some reason the resolution is completely whack on it. Like half the start bar was missing down at the bottom. Are you just not wanting to work properly? There we go. Oh, see, now we still have the black bars on the side. Annoying. Come on, Apache, get it together. Let's go try this. Actually, let's use this example here. I kind of want to see what it does. I'm just going to copy this directly here. Copy. Drop it in here. So this is an echo. This is blog, which is a beacon log. You typed some substring. Whoop. Undo. Then we have beacon command register echo. Echoes the text to beacon log and synopsis. So must be the command, the help, and then something else here. Let's see what that is. Okay, so the command, the short description, and the long description. Okay, I want to just try and load this up. Let's see what it does. I'm just going to tinker with this a little bit. And let's go pull up our script manager. Because we have to reload the script after we add that to it. So reload. And then we'll hold this up here. Help. Echo. Interesting. So, log arguments to the console, unknown command echo. What did we register the command as, though? Let's see. Command register echo. So this the command. Oh, you know what? It's alias. It should be alias. There's a typo in it, which is funny that it didn't flag on that. See up here. Or maybe it's not. Hold on, because we do usually define these as subroutines. So what is alias? Yeah, okay. So that should have been alias in here. We found a typo in the documentation. So we'll change that to alias, and then what we'll do is go reload it. Try this again. Script, reload. Let's run this one more time. Because we're registering the help, but then we didn't have anything for echo. Echo kitty farts. You typed 3762. That seems like an oddly specific number to return, considering whatever I type in there. But hey, it looks like it's working though. Let's see. Let's go pull up the script again. It's funny that substring of $1. Oh, but $1 is the beacon ID in here. See that? Yeah, so it's not like you typed. This was a completely random example. This is so bad it was almost AI generated. Because we can look here, $1 is the beacon ID, right? And if we can look over here, 3762. Okay, I don't think it shows the beacon ID in here. Can we show it? I guess not. That's funny. All right. I think the way that was supposed to be, though, this is probably supposed to be $2 here. So I want to reload this because $2 I think should be like the first argument we pass over to it. Yeah. Let's reload that script. And then let's try running it again. Hey, there we go. This script example was just all kinds of messed up. had a non-existent a function being used, and it was using just the beacon ID. Too funny, man. Again, that's why you don't just blindly copy and paste code without understanding it. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this did an alias command here. What if instead of an alias, we register a subroutine here? Right, because you usually use the sub command, right? Yeah. So if we change this to a subroutine, how's that going to affect our behavior? Let's go try it. Reload. Right, so what if we do help echo? We still get the same thing. We just type echo. Unknown command. What do you mean unknown command? Weird. Okay, so I wonder if it always has to be aliased, and we have to call something else with it whenever we do that. So what we probably could do though is, what if we did alias as echo, and then we had a subroutine here.
User Debark Casa is online.
Debark Casa! What's up, man? Thanks for coming online. Ah, crap. The ads are starting soon. Ugh. We're gonna chill out for just a second. Let this run. Actually, I wanted to look at something real quick here. Let's see if I can find. There was an article I actually wanted to share real quick. Although, I'm going to bring this over. So apparently Elon's bringing the heat trying to plug people streaming on X. Too funny. Alright, I cannot find the damn article I wanted. Hold on, I think I remember where it is. Okay, so it was an article about criminals exploit GitHub and FileZilla to deliver malware, but I don't think this is actually the one I was thinking it was going to be. If I bring this one over here. This was interesting. So they called it a multifaceted campaign. There we go. It's supposed to be live. There we go. Let's see. So it's been observed abusing legitimate services like GitHub and FileZilla to deliver a bunch of stealer malware and banking trojans, such as Atomic, Vidar, Luma, Okta, impersonating credible software like 1Password, Bartender 5, and Pixelmator Pro. Okay. So interesting, but this is really not that interesting. I think they're just trying to get clickbaity here by saying, "Oh, look, they're using GitHub and FileZilla." Well, who the hell else wouldn't? If you haven't seen that, all right, I'm not even going to read this article. I eventually sent it to myself to like look at, but there is, dude, did you not? What is up with this? Oh my God. This is atrocious. It looks like all of them crashed and they probably didn't recover properly. Let's reconnect them. I'm pretty sure my graphics driver is being a turd right now. Okay, there we go. This is back. But there's actually a cool program. So we looked at LOLBAZ before, right? Living off the land's binaries and scripts. And that was for to be able to have different things occur using built-in binaries in Windows, right? So, in fact, if we look at it again, let's say we wanted to look for something that gives us like code execution or application whitelisting bypasses. Also, cert OC can get like execute DLLs and download files. So if you're trying to get a file like onto a system and you want to do it with a legitimate binary, this is ways you can do this. And what's really cool is it also has the MITRE mapping to it over here. But there's another one called the LOTS project, which is living off trusted sites. And so what those guys were doing in the article, delivering the malware, was nothing special compared to like this here. It's like, hey, here's how you use GitHub user content and GitHub and OneDrive and Dropbox. Yeah, I'm gonna drop this one in chat. So we talked about LOLBAZ, but this is the first time I've mentioned this on the stream. This is actually some of the stuff that I look at whenever I want to go reference things to build into my social engineering campaigns. I try to make these things work. Although it's funny they have Mega listed in here because I don't think Mega really has that great a reputation. At least it didn't used to. Maybe things have changed. Let's see. But yeah, so this is lots of really cool stuff. Let's see if we wanted to search for like so like you see all these ones that have like command and control uses here. Let's look at this one, Azure Websites. Malware such as Almac has been have used Azure Web Applications as their CNC servers. Lots of interesting things. So yeah, this is a really neat project. Mr. Docs, this is the guy that created the Malware Dev Academy. Him and one other guy. And then they later brought on, who is it? Mr. Spider, the guy who wrote Havoc. He came onto their team too. Ooh, what is this GoPro? Offensive Notion? I already like the name. This is a very offensive stream. Notion as a C2. Oh yeah, actually I remember seeing this one. I forgot about this. It started as a meme and grew into a full project. Just roll with it. That's hilarious. I like that the listener is called Black Mesa. Oh, that's so cool. You know what? You know what, GoPro? I was trying to think of something fun to do for I was trying to think of something fun to do when we hit the stretch follower goal. So somewhere on Twitter, I put a follower goal on for 1,337 followers. And I was going to do something real big when we hit that. Maybe that's going to be like trying to tackle something really hard using offensive Notion. That might be really funny and meme-worthy. And people can just sit here and watch me like fucking turn red in the face with frustration trying to figure shit out. Yeah, because you got to remember, a lot of this, guys, it's supposed to be fun, you know? So I was like, okay, yeah, so how do you make things fun? Sometimes you just do it by making them artificially hard and unnecessarily complicated. You know, like a Rube Goldberg machine. Too good. All right, let's go see if our attack box is back up. Okay, so what we had here is we had alias for Echo. We're going to make a subroutine called Echo. Actually, I'm going to call it just sub Echo for lack of creativity. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move this down here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to call, how did we call this? Remember, because we defined rand alpha num here. And then did we just call it like a straight function call? Yeah, we just pass in the function right there. Okay, so what we can do then is we could just pass in our two parameters right there. So we can say sub echo. And we're going to pass in $1 and $2. And so what we can tell it is here, I think we don't have to define those as being local. I'm trying to think. God, sleep is such a weird ass language. Because this should pass in the beacon. I hope it's going to map directly to this. And then $2 should pass into whatever the string is that we pass in. Which probably only catches the first string up to a space. It's probably space delimited. But I just want to try it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we defined sub echo and we defined alias echo. So sub echo should, the alias should call the sub and then it should actually register this. So we should see a command execution here. In fact, you know, let's do something. Let's put a print line in here. The ultimate debugging tool. This is the echo alias. And then we're going to put another one down here. We're going to say print line. This is the sub echo subroutine. There we go. Ultimate debugging tools. When in doubt, print it out. So let's run this again. Let's reload it. I'm going to tinker with this. We're just finding all the edges. Basically, we're trying to figure out, this is the shape of the object and we're tracing it. That's what we're doing here. Help echo. I just do just echo. Okay, just didn't do anything. What if I do help echo kitty farts? Okay, so the command, that execution flow works. So if we wanted to go register a new command, we could do that. Now, I don't think we could make something like... Well, actually, shit, we might be able to. So if this is the command, beacon command register, do we have any for loops in here? Because if we did, what we could do is we could define an alias and a subroutine, and then we could have a loop over those for the beacon command register. Okay. Because what I wanted to do was actually use this tool, seatbelt. Oh god, they had to give it that GitHub. What I was thinking about doing was just pre-packaging some commands that we used during the lab that might be handy. Like there's things you would commonly check for, right? Because it has a shit ton of stuff it will check for. Look at this: AMZ providers, antivirus, app blocker, ARP table, Azure AD, certificates, everything from there. Stuff about FileZilla. If there's FileZilla configuration files. So some pretty like specific and esoteric things in here. And boom, it goes all the way down to WSIS stuff. So we've got a couple of groupings of these things that we've used. There's some that are actually already predefined, right? Like which ones are group user, group all. It's like, for example, you can command groups and do specific commands, so like group tat command. So where's the groupings for these? So here's group system, which is a shit ton. So there's groups for Slack, Chromium, remote, miscellaneous. So what I want to do is actually, let's go look at our notes for what we did in the past. Let's come over here. And let's do a search. Let's just do a search for seatbelt and see where all we had executions for it. This is actually where it was most handy, was doing some of the DPAPI stuff. Which actually I think was one of the first streams I actually started doing when I started streaming on Twitch. So wow, it's like a very minor trip down memory lane here. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it was pretty much like 3 months ago now. See, it was funny. We had notes in here where it's like, hey, here's how you could go find this information. And we put a note, just do it this way. Ooh, all right, so let's see here. So it looks like we mostly use this with DPAPI and MSSQL, but they're actually, I take that back. There were some modules that we didn't do on stream and we didn't take notes on in here. That seatbelt was used. So, but we can start with this. Let's look at this for DPAPI. Because what I would eventually like to do is have something like this. Let's go over to the iPad of knowledge here. Have something kind of like this, where we could say, we could have a base command. Bark. Well, nope, we're not using the iPad because my pen died. I had charged it forever. Let me see something here. Nope, that's not the right one. Damn it. Well, that's unfortunate. Hang on. Might be able to charge it up and get a little bit of a charge here for the rest of the stream. Let that charge up. But what I was thinking was we would have something like this. What we'd have is we'd have our command, right? Our base command. So we'd have seatbelt. And then we'd have a subcommand of like the subject, which might be something like DPAPI, or I did that wrong. Which, if for anyone who doesn't know, DPAPI is the Data Protection API, and it's how Windows locally encrypts stuff so that it's not in clear text on disk, but is still retrievable. So it uses symmetric encryption whenever it does it. So we could do like DPAPI and MSSQL, right? And then we'd have, let's say a targeted goal command under that. So for example, for DPAPI, we might want a command for Windows Vault. So we could throw Windows Vault in there. So the question is though, how do we make it to where we can register seatbelt, a subcommand, and then a list of things that we can run against it? because I can do it, but the question is, can we register commands that will do this? So for example, if I use the jump command, we have to specify like what we're going to use, right? So, but if I hit tab, it lets me go through the listed options that are in there. So let's say we pick like invoke decom, and then we pick the target, and then we pick the listener, right? So what I'd like is to be able to have those kind of as nested commands in there. Let's see if anybody else has this. Let's do Cobalt Strike aggressor script nested commands. Let's look at this one. We looked at this one before, but maybe he's got something that's kind of neat. Command up all. So for each beacon, deploy still as stuff uploading files for Windows System Native. Oh, interesting. It uploads a Windows Defender DLL, which I'm guessing they backdoor. Oh, interesting. Okay. It is some persistent stuff. This isn't registering like unique commands, though. So we found a way to do it. The question is this a proper way to do it? So here's pop-up, beacon pop-up menu, persist. Wait, hold on, what is a pop-up here? Oh, pop-up, that's what it is. So, because if we just run, what that's doing here is we just run the jump command. Let's say we were to jump invoke decom and give it like the target. Let's say web. Well, then it might go and invoke a pop-up here to say, hey, go select what listener you want. I'm willing to bet that's what that function does. So if we go take a look here, we have persist HTTP, managing our DNS beacons, labeling the beacons. Oh, interesting. So you can create dictionaries in it, otherwise known as like key value pair objects. Let's see. You know what? I bet someone else has probably already done this. Cobalt Strike aggressor script seatbelt. I wonder if anybody has already like kind of thought of this, because typically whenever I think of something neat, somebody has already thought of it like 5 years before me. Sharp DPAPI has been modified to output the following string upon completion in order to the script to be searchable for. Hello, Panda. You're lucky mommy's nice, because I wasn't going to let you in. Interesting. I don't know if this is what I want, though. Let's see what this guy's got. Oh, just a process true one. Oh, interesting. Pretty. Look at that. Color codes it. Admin tools, browser green, AV and EDR red. Oh, very cool. Heck, that's kind of neat. I like that. So there's obviously a lot you can do with these aggressor scripts. I'm trying to see like wait, hold on. Just realized something. So for his aggressor script, he's running the PS command, which is a built-in command to list the processes. So how's he overriding that? Huh, how is he registering that as the PS command? Set beacon output PS. Oh, long list of things to check. Process list with process highlighting. Okay. All right, so maybe, for example, doing this on in this way is going to be more complicated than I want to tackle before the exam. Because right now, here's the plan. Look at a calendar real quick. I just want a calendar. I don't want Google Calendar. Let's see. So today, it's March 20th, or May 20th. So we are here. So in June here sometime is when I was actually looking at taking the Red Team Ops course. Maybe that second week. I don't know. Probably realistically, I might aim for this third week here. So we're about a month out from it. I want to go take the Red Team Ops exam. I gotta figure out where it's gonna fit in my work schedule and get that all sorted out. So I want to do some stuff to basically prepare, almost like my notes, into aggressor scripts to take into the exam, just to try and help these workflows come out a little bit faster. So rather than trying to go dig out like the past of these different tools and whatnot, we'll be able to just run a command that we've got it built into the background. Or maybe we just have to change a few definitions. In fact, that's actually probably a pretty good idea. Because you notice how we've got stuff like this right here? The bin path? What we should probably do is set this to something different. So let's say this is going to be like sharp WMI bin path, right? Oh, typing is so hard. There we go. What we could do is actually take this and go copy this and maybe just define it as a global variable. So when we take this out, what if we just define that up here? Let's see. Sleep code global variables. So bad. Alright, we'll just test this out real quick. Let's take this. Let's do, we'll call this our global variables. So global variables, and then, what, you know what we need? That right there. The shift button is stuck. So what's happening is I'm hitting Control S, but it's sending Control Shift S, right? So right now my caps lock is off. And it's even typing in lowercase, but if I hit Control S, for some reason, it's doing Save As, which is Control Shift S. I don't know why. Don't know why. Yep, still. I thought maybe the caps lock might be doing it, but on or off doesn't matter. All right, so this should be defined here and then used again down here. Okay. So let's go try that actually real quick. So we say, let's save this. And then we're gonna go try this over here. Let's reload that script. Because if we can define those as global variables, then we'll have a really easy way of, hey, if there's stuff that's on disk, we can go make a quick modification to the path, and then our script just works fine. Let's try that. So jump with sharp WMI to workstation 1. Actually, Bob won't be able to jump to workstation 1, but we can just, we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, let's do jump SCP. It should fail because I don't think Bob is an administrator on workstation 1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this upload here failed. Yeah, I could not upload file. Bam. Yeah, there we go. So we finally got the access denied. But that's fine. Actually, this works fine because it did actually load up. It looks like it was trying to work. It was trying to do its thing. We didn't get an error saying it didn't find the WMI, the sharp WMI executable for it. So perfect. We can kind of restructure our script here. Up here, so we can have all the different hard-coded variables or hard-coded values just set as global variables. We can reference those in our various tools here. Perfect. Like, so for example, invoke decom right here. So this would be get proper file. If we take this out, oh god, go away. And then, so we can call this, let's say, call this invoke decom path. And we'll just go define that up. We'll do dollar invoke decom path is going to be equal to get proper file path here. Oh, and so now that should work as well. God, whatever, start this thing. All right, the ads are coming up again. I'm going to run them for 3 minutes so grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the bathroom, do all that, because then we're going to hit it again after this. And then the ads won't bother us for an hour. I tried to do it last time, and it rolled over before I could catch it. So we'll do that real quick, and then we're going to do some more customizing this script. We're going to just basically run through the curriculum, I think, starting with DPappy and my MS SQL, because those are the things I have notes on immediately. And then we'll start looking at some of the other scenarios in here. So, all right, we'll be right back, guys. All right, y'all, I'm back. Oh man, I forgot. I had to go up to my attic today. I was storing stuff up there, and as I was getting ready to come out of the attic, I busted the very top of my head on a rafter. And I just threw my headphones on real quick. So like, oh shit, the ad should be done. Let's get back to it. And bam, hit that spot. Oh, my dome. I actually lucked out whenever I hit my head on that rafter because it was not a sharp corner of it. The wood had an imperfection, and so it was kind of at a 45-degree angle. So I didn't hit a corner to it. Otherwise, I probably would have cut my head open because I banged it real hard. All right. So we've got this done. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. So this is a neat way to go about it, right? We could go register our own base command. And I do kind of want to do this, except I don't know exactly what order I want to do this in. Actually, hold on. This beacon command register. Let's go look at the definition for that again. Hey, yeah, pretty much. We're still looking at the Cobalt. What we're doing now is here in the lab, we have a whole bunch of notes that we've gone through. And so some of these processes can be kind of involved, right? So for example, if we look at, let's see, DPAP is actually the one that's up here. This is the data protection API. You look over here, you can see how long these notes are, how much info comes back from them. So what we're trying to do is, I was thinking, hey, what if we transcribe some of these notes into more actionable aggressor scripts? So that way we can use those and go register commands for it and make it a little bit useful. Then we'd have a handy little file that we could just kind of take with us to handle some of these common tasks. And also, we're getting ready here in about probably 3 or 4 weeks. I'll take the RTO exam, pretty much just to take, because I have a free take of it. I want to go ahead and take it. And so this will help, again, save time. This is like when I was telling people taking the CCNA courses, get really good at your subnetting, because then if you can instantly do your subnetting questions, you've freed up all that time that the test creator has allotted for that question to use on the more difficult questions. So that was kind of the same idea here, what we were following with this. So actually, I think DPAPI will be a really good one to do. But you know what I want to do, actually? Where did we do that? I think we did that in credential theft. Nope. Let me look at something real quick. Let's look at our notes on disk and see what the timestamps are. Because I'm trying to remember what order we did them in. So we can order documents. And we sort by date modified. Actually, we don't want date modified. We want date created. There we go. So domain reconnaissance was the first thing we did. So let's actually start with that. Let's look at domain recon. So I don't think there was too much in here that was, fairly odd that we might not want to do. The main thing that would be helpful for this rep is this. If I want to go run a command here, let's say I wanted to do the sharp WMI command, right? That requires me typing in a big, long command with this file path every single time, and it gets to be rather tiring. So instead, what I'd rather do is just have a wrapper around that. Command arguments, environmental variables are not resolved. Flags that change how the job is launched, e.g. 1 is disable WoW 16. The $2 and $3 are combined as is into a command line. Make sure you begin $3 with a space. Okay. This is the mechanism Cobalt Strike uses for its shell and PowerShell commands. Okay. Interesting. Let's look at something here. So what we did is we found a way to actually go register our own commands. There's a beacon command register function here. And this is just a really basic example, right? We registered the command echo, and we gave it a couple of help and pieces of information here. The short and long help. Close these. Oh, that's beacon execute job. That's not what we wanted. We wanted beacon register command. Here we go. So this is the command we're going to register, which is echo, which I believe just becomes an alias of this, right? So you have that reference, this alias command. So then what we did is we just expanded upon that, where the alias command calls a subroutine with all those variables too. Yeah. So I'm thinking we might do this a little bit. Let's mess around with it a little bit. Let's just see if this might be worth a damn. So this is in our domain reconnaissance. Let's also pull up Notepad. So let's see, if we wanted to register this one, let's say we got domain, we'll call it domain recon, and then we'll go by first topic in here. Now this is a little bit different in here because this is always doing get domain. Right, so all of these are coming through as part of Power View. That's the forest, get domain trust, get a domain user identity, get the domain computers, get the domains OUs. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if we wanted to query domain find administrators, that's what we did here. And also looking for anybody that's like who's in the domain administrators group. We want to target them. So this one might not be the best example here because a lot of this stuff is being done through Power View. But one thing we can do is, I wonder if we can alias. I wonder if we could alias Power View. We could make an import command. Because when we want to import Power View, we got to go through the same process here, right? So if we come over to Tools, and Power View is in PowerSploit. So we have to go Tools, PowerSploit, Recon, Power. So that's every time we want to kind of go through this, we have to at least import that command. Maybe let's just make a quick helper script to do that. That would be neat. Let's do that. Let's do that. So let's do alias. I wonder if it'll let me do a dash in there. Okay, we'll do an underscore. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to do a beacon command register. And the command description of the help. So let's call this import Power View, which we need to actually make this a string. And we're going to do it in the same style here just to kind of keep things safe. Description, this one imports Power View into current beacon. I'll just say into current beacon. And the long help is going to be the same thing. I'm just going to copy this over. Shit. Hang on, I want to try something. If I close this out and I go reopen it, will the shift key stop sticking? No. Let's try this. Well, I just realized y'all can't see it, but my shirt says, "I tried it at home." I thought this was an appropriate shirt for today. Yay, my freaking shift button is not stuck anymore. Okay, so for import alias Power View, what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to... We can actually copy what we did up here for invoke decom. So what we'll do is we're going to do power view path. That's going to be get file proper, and then we're going to give it the path to power view. Be // tools. Actually, let's just go copy that. Don't have to worry about making typos. Because all we have to do is throw this in here and then put in a couple extra backslashes, and we're good. And then we just tell it the script name here. Script name is just powerview.ps1. Drop this right here. Boom. And now we've got this nice global variable that we can use to do this with. And really what we want is just this. There we go. So copy this part. Because we don't need to do any of the rest of these steps. We're just using this simply as a helper function to import PowerView. Oh, no. What are you doing? Stop. There we go. So task beacon to run. Listener described $3. Oh no, we don't want that. We're just going to tell it we task the beacon to run. Import PowerView from. And then what we can do is tell it to use. That's not what we wanted. We wanted PowerView path. There we go. So we test the beacon to run PowerShell import. There we go. So we just kind of set that in there. So this will be our. We're going to change this real quick. So we set up our handle, we have it read, we close the handle, and then our this sends the script to the beacon host script. Look at that. I gotta remember what this function is defined as. ID of the beacon, script data to host. Returns a short PowerShell script to download and evaluate the script when run. Oh wait, that's beacon host script. We don't want to host it. A specified PowerShell import script is ignored, and this argument is treated as the download cradle. No, that's not what we want. Oh, so all we have is literally just those two examples of here. So we don't want it to download. I know there's a way to actually. There should be a way to actually import that script in here to make it simple. Here we go. Actually, if we look at aggressor scripts for Cobalt Strike. Cool, so we can make pop-up menus, we can make custom output, we can do events. Interesting. Okay. Data model. So we actually have not gone digging real deep into this information. I hate that when you zoom in, it kills the menu. Let's see what else we've got over here. Data model, listeners, beacons, SSH options, callbacks, custom reports, hooks, events, functions, pop up. Hooks. What do we do for hooks in here? Applet shellcode, beacon RDLL generate. Static size, sleep mask, HTML app. Let's search for PowerShell import. This is just running commands on post exploitation. I think there actually might be an execute, like B execute function. Let's see. Ask Beacon to execute a command without a shell. This provides no output to the user. Okay, so now this is like if we wanted to... If we wanted to like have it actually run like a process on there. Where's PowerShell reference? This is spawn a process, inject unmanaged PowerShell, and then run the specified command. So get the version of PowerShell available via unmanaged PowerShell. PowerVer 2. Interesting, okay. Ask Beacon to run a PowerShell command line. Now this is the one that, this launches managed PowerShell though. So we don't want to do this because this is then going to be vulnerable to being intercepted by AMSI. So we want to stick with PowerPick. So number 3, optional. If specified, PowerShell import script is ignored, and this argument is treated as the download cradle to prepend the command empty string. Okay, so did we even use that function for it? We did not. So we only passed it to Beacon host script 1 power view. Hold on. That's not the one we need to look at. We need to look at the one up here. So our one-liner gets used right here. Which is in our PowerPick. Okay. So in PowerPick, we actually did host the one-liner there for it. So we didn't necessarily need to do it this way, but it's interesting. I wonder if we... I'm kind of curious. If we took out this variable right here... Let me try something here. So if we do B PowerPick... Yeah, Beacon commandlet script. Do we have to pass it the script? I'm curious. Don't know. Let me see. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta go check out something real fast. Ooh, looks like Russia's giving South Africa the business. All right. Back. Sorry about that. I thought the APT was on the loose again. All right. So is that the actual script we need to use? Let's see. Oh, I want to look at something here. So this was, we had this one going as the one-liner. Beacon host script. And what does this function do again? Locally host a PowerShell script within Beacon and return a short script that will download and invoke this script. This function is a way to run large scripts when there's... Okay, so this is important because we needed to be able to basically serve up the script to the remote attacking system. But we don't need that. What we want is... Oh, let me see. What is it? And no, I'm always curious, like, what does it mean when it says locally host a PowerShell script? Does it mean it's hosting it in the beacon? Is it hosting it in our team server? What does it mean? This function is a way to run larger scripts when they're constrained on the length of your PowerShell run layer. I wonder if there's a way to actually just simplify this and just tell it to do a PowerShell import. Rather than having to actually have it go read, this might be way overcomplicating it. B PowerShell _ import. What does that do? Okay, so this is what we wanted. We wanted PowerShell import. Okay. Real freaking hard there, Blaze. Way to go. So Beacon will be $1. And then the script is going to be... Wait, does this thing just be the path to the script? Path to the local file to import. Perfect. So, okay, so when they say local, I think they literally do mean local. But this is going to be $, power view path. Awesome. So now if we save this, we should be able to just run import power view. And then we can have a nice little handy import Gradle for all of our various PowerShell scripts. Let's go try that. Come over here, we're going to reload. Oh, it doesn't like what we did here. Unknown expression at line 77, sub echo. Hold on. What did we do? Yeah, it's because we're missing... Is it because we're missing semicolons in here? Is that what it is? Usually gives us a different error, though, whenever we... Oh, what is going on here? Something's fucked up. Oh, you know what I bet? Go over here to the top. Yeah, that's the problem. We're missing our semicolon and our global variable definitions. Because you guys, it was looking at it was messing up like every single one in there. Okay. Line 50, script commandlet beacon. Where is that now? Good old debugging. Oh, yeah. That would explain it. Another thing we did, we left our Gradle in there. We were just testing real fast. All right, so we got that going. Now we should be able to... Boom. So if we run import power view, it should import it. And then now if we... Cool. And now if we just do... Let's do a test on it real quick. We'll do power pick get tac domain. Hey, there we go. So that worked. Cool. So we can save ourselves a bunch of headache by kind of just having a little bit of a helper function. So I'm taking a bit of the math approach to this. Makes sense. I have a degree in math. And we did everything the hard and long form way. Now that we know how to do that, we're going to take a little bit of shortcuts. We're going to make it more efficient time-wise to run. So let's see. So I'm still a script kiddie, but now I get to write the scripts. Let's see. Let's just collapse all these. Collapse, collapse, collapse. I don't want to take this back. Let's do that. Cool. So now not what I wanted to do. Let's take that out here. So let's do another one here. So what are some of the other tools? Kind of use a lot of. So in our domain recon, everything in here was kind of was all done mostly in PowerView. We also had Sharp View too, so if we wanted to do that, we could. And I forget what the benefit to Sharp View was. It's basically just another way to run it. So if we wanted to avoid doing this, and then we have AD search, which AD search is a bit of. So we had those other options in here. Let's see. Let's go look at our next newest set of notes in here. Let's see, which was user impersonation. Let's go. We're gonna open that here. Where's user impersonation? So we're just kind of running through some of these notes the way we did this. Yeah. So this is something we always looked at right here. So we can pass the hash if we wanted to. We can do it with their hash in here. So like we'd look at that. Do and this has to be run from an administrator account. But one of the cool things is we can actually just use their NTLM hash when we do this. Just that's a good reminder to have, but we don't need that right now. Oh, here we go. So this was passing the ticket with Rubius. Which actually, this was the longer way than when we initially did this. At this point, once you get a working callback, can't you just reuse the binary for your instances needed? You mean like the binary that was used to get the call to get the beacon, or you mean like whenever we have like a binary that we're using like to sideload for a .NET? Oh yeah, we totally could. In fact, there was we should have notes in here on persistence, I think. No, I think I did that before we started streaming. But in the persistence section, we actually go through how to backdoor stuff like WMI commands. So we can have it that every time command.exe or notepad.exe is run, it also spawns us a beacon. So yeah, we'd have some executable or some DLL loaded in there, and we'd want to kind of have it set up to run whenever that loads up. Yeah, so that was actually covered in the persistence section. Which persistence is good to know, especially when it comes exam time, because obviously we don't want to go revert the lab if we can avoid it. Typically, whenever we were setting up persistence initially, that's why whenever we first boot up Cobalt Strike, nothing's calling back. I refreshed the lab, everything except the attack box and the team server, so we could keep all of our little goodies we had developed. But all the other machines that we had installed persistence mechanisms on were gone. And a lot of those were like scheduled tasks, like, hey, when the user logs in, fire a beacon. We did it also through GPO, so group policy objects, and that would do it also. Like all the machines would run our DNS beacon. We had stored it in Sysvol. I think we stored it in Sysvol. No, we stored it in a different share. the one I actually really liked the most was one that it technically didn't touch disk, and is we created a scheduled task to run, and it ran PowerShell with an encoded command. So we had the encoded download exec cradle for the DNS beacon. Now the downside to that, however, is that that has to be able to run in a system that can get through a corporate proxy. So here in this network, there's a proxy set up, and only certain users are allowed to talk out of the proxy to the internet on the lab. So you have to be aware of that as well. Who's going to be able to download and find those? Let's see. What else did we have for user impersonation? Yeah, because what we did is we created a sacrificial process. We would dump the ticket, and then we would tell it to pass the ticket into a particular local user ID or a unique identifier. And then we give it the ticket in here. It would be handy, actually, if we could create a parser to automatically handle the ticket data from Rubius. But I think that's going to take more time and knowledge than I want to spend on it. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be so bad if I knew how to get the parsing real quick. We could just take base64 encode a ticket, and then gather up everything after the colon, and then just delete any white spaces afterwards. This is one of those things that I think I would rather stick to doing it by hand, perhaps. The only thing I would say is, I wonder if we could actually have this become an alias. So like, rather than having to do execute assembly, C:\tools, Rubius bin, release Rubius.exe, could we do execute assembly Rubius and have it translate Rubius to this path here? Then we could set that as a global variable in the script and just be able to have a quicker way to run this. Let's see. Is there a way to do that? Let's look and see how the aliases work. Oh, that's cool. This is a quick example of how to do power up on here. Get power up and then run it. Oh, cool. You can actually clear the imported PowerShell scripts from the beacon session. That's nice, actually, because if you need to go make changes to it, you could clear it and then re-import it. I don't know how the precedence happens. Like, if you import the same script twice, what happens? If it overwrites? That'd be something interesting to know. Yeah, this is awesome. They created a shields down command. Basically turn off the entire firewall. All right, I like that actually. I'm gonna steal that. Actually, I wonder. So if we set up an alias without a register command, what does it do? Let's go see. Let's go test it out. So we're gonna put this in as a command right here. Shields down. But I think if we type like help shields down, it's not going to show us, or it's not even going to be like an option that we can tab complete. Got it. And then let's try running it again. So what if we do... Oh, actually, it is there. It might say that there's no help command available. Okay, cool. So we don't necessarily need to register the command. The alias is doing it. I guess what'll happen if I do echo shields down. It just takes the string. Let's look at that. I wonder if you can do that. Cobalt Strike. You know what we could do, actually? there is something very simple we could do here. I just thought about this. So what do we do every time we want to run Rubius, right? We do execute assembly Rubius. So what we could do is we could just create an alias here, exec assembly tag Rubius, and then we could have it just hard code this in there. Let's go try that. So let's grab this. Let's go define a Rubius path. Because Rubius is one that, especially when we're going to be doing Kerberos attacks, we just use it all the freaking time. Rubius path. And that's going to be get file proper. Drop in our little stringy. Make sure and put the semicolon. And then double backslash everything. Backslash. 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 Again, a backslash. And one more little backslash. Actually, we need to change this up a tiny bit. This needs to be this. And this is actually handy because if we want to change the binary, it's real simple to see, hey, this is the actual file we're in for. I'm going to change this to a capital C just for consistency, because all the rest of these are capital C's. And then we're going to align this. Why? Because I feel. There we go. Perfect. All right, so cool. We got that running, or at least we have it prepared a little bit. Let's go make ourselves an alias. So the alias is I'm going to call this execute. Actually, we could just make an alias and just call it Rubius. Even. And then, let's see. So this is going to be. This is the actual one that we want to do. Let's see. Ask a beacon to run a command on a remote host. The function creates a service on the remote host, starts it, and cleans it. Okay. Oh, that's sexec. That's service exec command. Let's make a note of that, actually, here in... Because that's a very important piece of information to have. Because if we're trying to go debug, like, hey, why is this not working? That will be a very important thing to know why. And this is actually a really cool command. All it does is uses NetSH Advanced Firewall and set all the profiles to off. So it just completely disables the firewall. Not super stealthy by any means, but it could come in handy. I tell you what, actually, rather than the shields down command, after we do Rubius, I actually want to do another one. So we're going to call this firewall aliases. Because what we're going to do, we're going to call this one execute assembly aliases. What we could do, actually, there's a couple of times where we actually do want to poke some holes in the firewall. And so it would be handy if we had an alias where we could go pass in a port and have that port be allowed inbound or outbound, right? So that's another thing that we can do here just to kind of help us out a bit. Because trying to remember some of these advanced SH syntaxes gets to be a pain in the ass. And like I said, the whole purpose of this, we're trying to make this run faster so we have a little bit of a leg up in the exam. We can just take care of some of the simpler tasks quickly so we can focus on what are the challenging tasks. All right, so for Rubius, I think it's just execute assembly. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, because this is what we did for Sharp WMI. That's right. So the beacon ID, this may be an array or a SQL ID. The local path to the .NET assembly, and then the parameters to pass to the assembly. Let's go look at that. B execute assembly. And so the beacon is going to be $1. The assembly is going to be Rubius path. And then what do we have for $3 here? Selected listener. Actually, we need to test this out because I think this should just be $3 and beyond. How would it do this? I'm trying to think how to structure. Because because we're gonna have several commands being run there. Let's look at something. What if they list this out in the actual page here? There's only 2 references to this. And here they're actually hard passing the args. So what I want though is I want all the arguments in here to get passed in. Because sometimes there's a large number of arguments to get passed in, so I want the rest of them passed in there. Let's see. Find the alias command in here. That clears an alias whenever we do that. Oh, cool. That's actually good to know. So if we wanted to automate adding some alias and stuff, callback function called when the user runs alias. Argument 0 is the command to run. 1's the beacon ID. 2 is the arguments. Well, so what? Let's just give that a shot here. That's the callback function. So this is our callback function right here, which is execute, which is going to use $1, the Rubius path, and then it's going to pass in what it means by $0 is the command to run. Oh, I guess that's the name of it. Okay, so then just $2, I think, is actually what we should use here. So let's just try that. Let's save that and then reload it, and then we're just going to try testing running it and see where it fails and where it doesn't. Reload. So now if we just run roots. What do you mean file not found? That is unacceptable, sir. Copy. Where's our tools? Yeah, this should have been the correct path. Let's go double check it. Actually, in our beacon, it told us it is. This should work because we just saw that listed up here. Now, it could be that also it's trying to execute an assembly from the local disk. Is that it? Execute assembly. Spawn a local.NET executable assembly as a beacon post-exploitation. Oh, so maybe we need to add this as a script resource? I don't want to see the examples. Here we go. Returns the full path to a resource that is stored relative to the script file. Relative to this script file. Okay. So, not exactly what we need. Let's just double check it in our code. Let's go check our global definition. Tools, Rubius, bin, release, then rubius.exe. That should be correct. We done did it again, chat. And by we, I mean us. So I really got to get the Idiot Cup going. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Idiot Cup was actually going to be this stream's version of the Tip Cup. But instead of tips, every time I did something demonstrably stupid, bits were going to go into the Idiot Cup. And then once the Idiot Cup hit a certain amount, we were going to actually like do a little charity donation. So I really got to figure out how I'm going to set that thing up, because this was way deserving of it. Like every time I do something really dumb, I was thinking like, I'll throw $1 in there. It's like the swear jar, you know, negative reinforcement to try and help keep me from being so damn stupid. There we go. So it should have been, instead of B execute, which would run a binary on the system hosting, running the beacon, we need to do execute assembly, which will load up our local Rubius onto it. Way to go, smooth brain. All right, let's reload this. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Cool. So now what if we did Rubius triage? We're getting somewhere. Nice. What if we did a create net only, and I think it's program cmd.exe. I think that's the actual. I think that will work as a very basic command example. Did do program. What's the syntax for that though? I did do program, but yeah, /program command.exe. So now it might be that it is only getting create net only, right? That it's not getting everything past this. But let's try it. So if we wrap this in double quotes, what's going to happen? That's it. So it's doing exactly what I was worried it was going to do, where it's not grabbing all of the arguments, it's only grabbing the first one, and so it's space delimiting all the tokens. So now the question is there a way for us to like get the rest of them? Like, can we get, because there's like in Python, there's a way to do that, right? You can tell it, take this variable and all the rest and cram them into one. I wonder if there's a way to do that in Sleep though. Let's just do a quick check, actually. This will tell us if it's something like that may be possible. What's that? So I think we could also do... I'm going to try $. This actually probably won't work. Hold on. Because the assembly isn't defined like that. Execute assembly. Execute as. There we go. Yeah, because if we start putting... This is parameters to pass through the assembly. But if we look at our alias command, right? I'm going to cheat a little bit. Here. And is it okay? So it says $2 is the arguments. So the main thing we're going to have to remember for this is $2 is only going to take like up to what's passed to it. So we're going to have to find some way. I don't know if there's any other way to get those arguments into a single string to be passed through there. So what we'll probably have to do is we're going to have to put a, we're going to have a help reminder. So let's duplicate this. And we're going to call this Rubius. And this imports, or actually it doesn't even import, it just does execute assembly Rubius. And then the long one is going to be that same thing. Didn't want to cut it. Um, args must be wrapped in double quotes. I think that actually we're gonna double backslash that. And let's go reload it again and see if that works. So that way, if we're trying to figure out why the hell is this not working, we'll have a little help script for us. So reload. What if I just run the Rubius command by itself? Oh, if we just run Rubius by itself, it's just going to give us the help program. So. But that's fine, though, because we do help. It's like, we can just say args must be wrapped in double quotes. Although, I just noticed that string looks stupid. Take this out. There we go. Okay, so now let's try. I think what else I want to do. So Rubius is a tool we use quite often. We've kind of got a wrapper for it now just to make it simpler than having to go through and do these long execute assembly strings. Oh, you know what I want to do actually? This should work here. Let's try taking this. And we're going to ask for a ticket granting ticket for J King. I'll try this. Yeah, let's try that. Let's do Rubius. And we're going to drop all these in here. Actually, I'm going to let it go like this again, just to validate, because we should get an error saying ask TGT needs additional parameters. And then we're going to run it again with the double quotes, just as a confirmatory test. Because you always want to say, hey, what's the dumbest thing I could do? Yeah. See, we did supply a user in here and didn't it. So now if we run this, we should actually get a ticket granting ticket back for J King, which we did. Cool. So it looks like it's functional, right? We just threw a random command at it and it worked. Awesome. Hell yeah. It'd be kind of cool, actually. I don't want to work on it, but I was just thinking. Since you can create custom UI pop-ups, you could actually have an alias for Rubius that created a pop-up menu with like a lot of the common parameters so that you could go fill in real fast and have it auto-format all the syntax. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, we've been going for an hour already? Okay, ads are going to run here for just a second. Like I said, we're going to take a 3-minute break then. We'll hit it again. That way it won't bother us for an hour. Then after that hour's up, we'll probably call it a night there because it's starting to get late my time. So let's let those run, and I'll catch up with y'all soon. All right, I'm back. Let's do this. I had to go check on that chicken again because the chicken they got just I don't know what happened. I don't have a camera in the backyard or anything. All I know is there was a chicken that was out and Panda was out. And then now the chicken's acting like it's been to war. Like it's faced death and it's trying to process an existential crisis. And so I looked the chicken over again. She looks fine. I saw one little area where it might be that it could have been potentially like an injury. Like I don't know if Panda nipped at her or something, but it didn't even look bad. So I think that chicken's just facing down, like having to process a near-death experience in its eyes. All right, let's see here. I'm just gonna take this out. Oh no, actually, I do want that. Parts must be wrapped. And yeah, so let's go ahead and save that. Cool. So now we've got a wrapper for Rubius. Let's go see what else we might want to make a wrapper for. Better way to do this. Token impersonation. Let's see. We could steal the token. That's funny. I tried Rev 3 self instead of Rev 2 self. Let's take that out of there. So one of the important things to know is that whenever we steal those tokens, it's only going to be usable basically for network logins, not for local activities. Let's see. So not really too much else here that we'd want to kind of customize. Rubius is one of the big tools that we use kind of all the time. All right, so what else did we have after user impersonation? Let's close that. After user impersonation, we had lateral movement. Okay. Which actually, we did a little bit of lateral movement. We did the customized invoke decom, and we did the customized sharp WMI. Which is cool because the sharp WMI one can be used for general execution, but it can also be used because we have a remote exec for WMI in here. Get up the notes a bit. That's just remote exec for WMI. We can do the same thing with sharp WMI. Let's see. There's linking, invoke decom. Okay, so we already did that. So that one we've pretty much already covered too. Let's see, what was our next one? Deep Happy. That's going to be a big one, actually. I don't know if we'll get through all this tonight, because there's a shit ton to deal with in the data protection API. It's really handy, though, because you can steal credentials out of it once you find the particular values for it, like the vault value and the vault key. I did not find a good way to automate it. It took a bit of hunting and pecking around in the system to get it working. Let's see. Here's our credentials manager stuff in here. A better way to do this was if we use seatbelt. Okay, you know what? Now that we did the seatbelt for Rubius, let's go do the same thing in here. Let's go make a wrapper for seatbelt, since we now have a kind of a good way to do it. Copy. Wrong window. Here we go. So let's do alias seatbelt. And how did we do this one? We just did... Okay, so we need to go define the seatbelt global variable real quick. Let's do dollar seatbelt path. And that's going to equal get file proper. Drop that in there. And we'll do a little bit of syntax cleanup. And then double backslash all these and we'll be good. Backslash, backslash. And remember, the reason we have to double backslash these is because the backslash is an escape character in this and in many languages. So if we did backslash T, it's going to evaluate that to just T. And so, or let's say for example, we needed to have a double quote somewhere in the middle of the string. If we put the quote in, then that becomes a delimiter for the initial one. So we put a backslash quote in there, and that's called an escape sequence. It tells it, don't process this as a quote, just print it as a double quote. So we're doing the same thing here, because all these backslashes would then be escape. So by doing a double backslash, we're telling it, ignore the next character as a escape sequence. The escape sequence is the backslash. So just basically all these are going to collapse down into 2 single backslashes whenever we do this. Let's save this. So what we'll do is we'll do a B execute assembly. So also, if you're noticing here in VS Code, why did I undo it? Because there's actually 2 things that you can do here. It can just complete the word that it knows, or it actually can complete a, basically like a scaffold. Gives you all the commands. So if I choose this one here, see, it tells me, oh, this is what you need to pass in: the beacon, the assembly, and the parameters. So we're going to do it just like we did here. It's going to be $1 for the beacon. The assembly is going to be $seatbelt path. And then our parameters are going to be $2. And then we're going to basically just copy what we did up here for the command register to have help. It's going to be seatbelt, execute assembly of seatbelt. To modify this, ours must be dropped in double quotes. Oh. Cool. So now we can, let's go reload that and kind of just check it. Because what I want to do is I actually want to rework through the DPAPI part here. So this is finding where the Windows vaults exist on the system. I think we did this on Workstation 1. Didn't list it, but that's okay. We're going to try this on Workstation 2. We're going to see what happens. So if we go reload our script. Oh, damn it. I forgot a semicolon. Reload that. And then we can come over and let's do this seatbelt. And then I think is it Windows Vaults? Is that it? What was the command? Windows Vault. Damn it, did it do execute instead of execute assembly again? I'm going to be pissed at it because I specifically chose execute assembly. You son of a bitch. I specifically clicked execute assembly in this case. I recognized that behavior from the first time we did it with Rubius. Fool me once, shame on you. So reload. Let's try it again. All right, looks like it's actually running now because it takes a second for it to prep and upload that binary. Perfect. All right, cool. So we're getting stuff. Actually, this is what we wanted. Ta-da! Nice. And then after we found the vault information here, here's our next step. Then we check the Windows credential files. I think you can actually do a comma-separated list for seatbelt. I think so. Let's see what happens. Just gonna give it a little testy test. See if it throws an error. Okay, so it didn't like that. And remember, because we have to wrap these to double quotes, so the entire thing gets passed as a single argument to our eventual binary to get executed. So we're gonna wrap that. Nice. So there's our vaults, there's our credential files. Now, out of curiosity, actually, what happens if we change the position of these? Does it execute in order? Here, so now will we get credential files first and then vaults? I just want to try that real fast. Order of execution can be very important sometimes. And actually, if we can do this and have it list out these three. Yeah, okay. So order of execution is very important. Look at what I do. So control left and right will change between tabs. Nice. I didn't even know that. Learn something new every day. So what we might actually do is make an additional copy of seatbelt for DPAPI and have it run a couple of these commands kind of in order that we need. So here we've got a list of the credential files. They're located in users, app data local, Microsoft credentials. And we see these listed here, right? So this corresponds to this file name. This one corresponds to this file name. Now the kicker was we had these two different file names, so I didn't know which one to examine. What if we did this? Now I'm trying to remember what we were doing, what we were getting out of Mimikatz when we did this. Did we have to do this with Mimikatz, or was there another way? Typically there's another way to do it. This is part of the reason why the output's so long, is because Mimikatz just vomits output. Because we're doing some more Mimikatz here. Let me go pull up the data protection API stuff, because do we need to... Do we have to do this with Mimikatz? I'm trying to remember. This was before I got the in-lab note-taking process down. Oh, hey, Brett. Sorry, let me permit you on that. There you go. You can drop links now. It's fine. I think I set it to the lowest threshold. It would like time out your messages, which I think was just 5 seconds or something. And I might actually end up just turning that off or whitelisting a whole bunch of domains like github.com. I just haven't had time to do that yet in Nightbot. Eventually, actually, I'd like to go make my own bot for here and for Discord that have an interaction between each other. Just to have that development time is way off in the future. Look at this tool set, though, you sent. GhostPack compiled binaries? Let me see. So this was the link that Rep just sent. And, oh, okay. That's cool. So actually, the way we're doing this is... Oh, this is... So actually, I probably would not... I don't know. I may use this. This also is fairly old. It's 2 years old, and I know these have had... It would be better if he had released a build script to go build all these. That would have been better to do. I am 100% leery of running precompiled binaries from a lot of these places. So, yeah, this is a cool idea. And actually, this was something we'll probably do maybe during the RTO, maybe before we start RTO 2. Sorry, so not during RTO, but when RTO is completed and before we start RTO 2, we actually might take a little bit of a detour into building a CI/CD pipeline. Because what I want to do is eventually have it to where I could have it go pull libraries and do custom builds of the different toolkits. Now, the downside to that is RTO2 lab, I think, is based off the RTO1 lab, and you're still going to be using Cobalt Strike. So the lab is still going to be isolated. You're not going to be able to get these binaries in and out. Because like if you look at certify.exe, it's 170 kilobytes. That's a lot of base 64 if you want to try and copy it and paste it over to it. So I like this idea, but also you can see like it's not well maintained. The guy he started it for a couple years and then didn't keep up with it. Probably because he was having to go build all these things manually. Yeah. I like the idea, though. I like the idea of having it built for different versions of .NET. That's kind of cool. One of the ideas I had actually had rep was to take something like Rubius and actually try to make it into something I was thinking about calling it the shotgun toolkit. And rather than having Rubius be one giant binary, because if you look at this thing, Rubius is half a meg almost. So if we can reduce the amount of data we're having to send over the wire and we can break it into chunks, so maybe I don't need to send every piece of functionality. I just need to send the functionality for ask for a TGT, or the functionality for creating a net only, or for triage, or for dumping. I thought about taking those high-level commands, chunking them into their own individual binaries, and then having that where we could basically have a little suite of executables that we could run. All I heard was break into chunks. Did the audio cut out? Blink twice if the audio cut out, Pale. That's when you got here. Hey, dude. No, what I was saying is, we were looking at these kind of pre-compiled binaries this guy had made, and it looks like a neat idea. I like the idea. I'm not going to go download and run these. I would rather he had put like a build script in to explain his building process and how these were done. I like the idea of it, and I had thought about doing something similar. But tools like Rubius, actually, I think we might take a little detour into trying this. I don't know how it's going to work out. Rubius has a lot of cross functionality. Hey, GoPro. And so what I thought about doing is actually chunking Rubius. So rather than having one chunky boy, half a meg that we have to upload to our beacon every time we want to run it, we have Rubius set up to, we have all the different functionality broken out. So like we have one binary for just asking for the TGT. We have another one for passing the ticket, another one for create net only. So essentially take a list of all the high level commands, find out which functionality it actually needs, and then chunk all that together into a single binary. So that way you can have the command run just like you were doing it, but instead of running like rubius.exe, maybe we'd run rubius-asktgt.exe. And then we just have the asktgt functionality in there. So I thought that might be a kind of a cool tool. Reduces your footprint on the wire, right? Because every time you need to go run a Rubius command, you're having another half a meg go to it. So you run this command, 4 times, you've got 2 meg of network footprint that's going to happen here. So if we can just reduce our footprint on the network, that would be cool. So get the Windows cred files. So from the Windows credentials files, what output did we actually get? Oh, so it tells us the folder right here. And then the file name. Perfect. I'm trying to see if so in our notes we were using Mimikatz. But I don't know if I'm trying to remember if we had an alternative to using Mimikatz. Oh, okay, so there were 2 ways to do this with Mimikatz, and typically we've been shying away from Mimikatz because just about every time Mimikatz runs, it wants to open up a handle to the LSASS process, and that is usually sus AF. So instead, we've been avoiding using it, but actually there is a Mimikatz way of pulling this data out that doesn't touch LSASS. So it's a bit more stealthy. Well, it's stealthy in a different way. It requests the domain controller via the Microsoft Backup Key protocol to send down the data, which might kind of blend in. It would be sus though, like if this is happening from a non-elevated system process, right? This is happening from Mimikatz. And that it only works if executed in the context of a user who owns the key. Let's see. So I like the seatbelt wrapper, but the rest of the process, I don't think we can really automate into here. So I think we'll probably leave that one as is. Let's see what was our next set of notes. So after DPappy, we had Kerberos, which actually Kerberos was pretty much 100% through Rubius. But let's go double check it and see if there's anything else that was used in it. We already have the Rubius wrapper, which is nice. Let's see. So in Kerberos, so there is a Kerberos simple command in here. Yeah, so all this is done through, let's look at this. Let's do beacon. Here. And what we'll do is we'll just look at all the beacon commands that we ran. There. Let's see, so we ran Rubius. Oh, okay, this was get net user SPN here. What about this one? What did we get? What did we get? Oh, this was if we ran the Kerberos simple command. Actually, I want to try that because there's got to be a better way to do that with Kerberos. Get net user SPNs just gave us a list and didn't request any. So what if we run just Kerberos with it? I actually want to go try that real fast. So Rubius Kerberos. I don't think it's going to auto request it because we didn't use the simple. Well, I take that back. Look at that. It just auto requested all the TGS. So that's not handy. We could do Kerberos Tech H. Let's see. No. I think we have to actually go to the documentation for that. Yes, get. I like how the first suggestion when I search for Rubius is Rubius Hagrid. That cracks me up. There has to be a Rubius option for just use Kerberos security token roasting method, roast with highest supported encryption. Okay, not what we wanted. Use the supplied TGT to request, roast all accounts with RC4 specified. Use the ticket delegate trick, enumerate accounts without AES enabled, roast with RC4 specified. Okay. But is there a way to just list it? Because that's what we want in here. Okay. I find it interesting that there's no Rubius functionality in here to just list the Kerberoastable targets, rather than just having it go full-on Rambo style. Because a lot of times, like if we go, let's go do this. If we do power pick, get use, I think it's get net SPNs. What was the command we just used? Hang on. Or we just saw in here. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to run this command real fast. And when we run this, it's just going to do a list of it. It's going to give us the service principal name and the user principal name. And look at this one right here. Honey service. Fake dev cyberbotic IO. So there's a honey token in here. This is a common tactic for more mature organizations where they start using honey tokens. What you do is you put an account as with an SPN, so it could be Kerber roasted, and then basically anything that requests a TGS for that instantly triggers incident response to start going after it and just hunter-killer mode. Totes, what's up, dude? Hey, no problem, man, dude. We're doing great, dude. So what we're doing is going back through the notes from the lab, and then we're creating custom aggressor scripts for Cobalt Strike. Just little helper scripts. Because, for example, every time we wanted to freaking run Seatbelt or Rubius, we had to go type in big-ass long commands. Or anytime I wanted to go import Power View, I had to go type in an annoying-ass long path into it. So what we did is, in our script, we defined a bunch of global variables. So one, if we need to change this later, we can. But two, we can just use those down here in our functions, and then we can register these little helper functions. So like seatbelt basically is just a wrapper to do execute assembly on the beacon with that seatbelt object. Now we did find one little quirk of it here is that it only passes like one argument. So whenever we run it, we have to like wrap them in double quotes down here to get it to work. So one little oddity to it, but you know what? Wrapping in double quotes is amazingly worth not having to type out C:\tools /Rubius /bin /release /Rubius.exe every freaking time. I typed that damn string probably 1,000 times. But no more. All right, let's go look and see what else we got here. So Kerberos, Rubius. Oh, here's for AS rep roasting, though. This was using AD search. Which AS rep roasting is kind of hard, especially if you don't have... The cool thing about AS rep roasting is you should actually be able to do it if you don't have a valid account. The problem is you got to know what the user's name is. So that could be pretty hard sometimes. So then if we go AS rep the squid service here, it's going to return us AS rep hash. And what we do is we would copy this with, we'd go crack this with John. Now, actually, here's something we might want to take a look at.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
It's the Salty virus.
Salty Demon 86 virus detected in the network.
What's up, Salty? I'm gonna drop Cookie Monsters. Hey, Marky. Salty, I meant to get with you today. Today was actually kind of, towards the end of the day, a little bit of a shit show. Hey, Deb. Something I never thought I'd say. I actually had to go deal with a chicken that I think has PTSD. And so, oh, thanks, GoPro. I don't think I set up the shout-out command, unfortunately. I need to do that. Over in Nightbot. Yeah. Just... the day started out fairly average. It just got a little bit weirder as the day went on. And so, one of the... Panda, you know, she's always jumping on shit. Well, she knocked in this little fenced-in area, or at least a hole in it, where I had the chickens outside today. I'm trying to get them used to going outside. They're going to go in a coop starting Saturday. Well, I couldn't... one of the chickens got out because of this hole she knocked in there. And I don't know if Panda, like, maybe jumped on her or just licked her to death or something. She didn't die. But the chicken's acting like she's got the 1,000-yard stare and was deployed to Nam for a while. And so I'm just checking her over. I don't think she's injured. I think the chicken's literally having an existential crisis and like trying to emotionally process a near-death experience as it sees it. So just a weird ending to the day. I was actually like 15 minutes late to the stream because of that. Oh, cool. We actually put ourselves some nice little notes here for unconstrained delegation. Huh, so actually, so you know what? This might be... I wish I could get that kind of layered effect here where you had like domain recon stuff in here. Because hunting for machines with unconstrained delegation would be nice. Oh, for goodness, let me see. Hey, Salty, what time are you done with work tomorrow? Makes you want to get chickens again. It's funny because right now they're in a brooder, right? So they can stay warm. They're pretty much done with the brooder though. All their feathers have come in. But the brooder is just over in the living room. I didn't have a better place to put it. And my son and my nephew that comes over and stays with him during the day, they just love going over there and just checking on the chickens. Late afternoon? Okay. I'm going to see if I can hook up with you tomorrow and we'll figure out what to do about, what's it called? Try hack me? Because essentially what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for a debit card that we can use. So I'm trying to get all that set up. The system I was going to use isn't making it easy, but I also have other plans for like how we can get the premium account set up for you. Because I want you to have the premium account because then it's going to give you a virtual machine to use. So for all my new folks, because I know we've had a bunch of new ones come in from Saturday's stream. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a mentoring stream with Salty over there in chat. And we talk about how to do all sorts of cybersecurity stuff. He's wanting to learn. I like teaching. I thought this would be a great way for like having him basically learn this stuff, and then it teaches it to the chat as well. So we have a lot of fun with it. We were playing a game called Greyhack, but I think Salty's pretty much exhausted most of what he could do with that without us going into some deep programming, or even just like some more intense programming, let's say. So we're gonna. I think it's time to graduate him to a live fire exercise, which would be try hack me. Let's see here. How deep do I want to get into this? What's funny is actually these steps are slightly less optimal, because what we could do is instead of doing the create net only, we can actually do a create net only and pass the ticket in one go, and then just steal the PID. So actually these two steps can be combined here. But really, it's actually the AD search stuff. Yeah, I think actually, let's look at some of these AD searches. That would actually be pretty handy. You know what we could do? We can go create some more helper functions against AD search. And we don't have to pass it. These are basically going to be standard parameters, right? We're not going to tinker with this command line very much. We're just going to run it as is. PowerPick get net user SPNs. What if there's a way to check if we already imported a PowerShell script? Because if we didn't import it yet, I would like to make a helper function to check if it's imported. If it is, run this. If not, import and then run it. But I guess what we could do is we could just have it go ahead and run the command. It's going to error out. If it's not imported, then we're going to know. So not optimal, but a solid solution. We don't want to let perfect be the enemy of good. Yeah, that's how you end up with Verde Beach catching on fire. let's see, how do we want to do this? I think what we'll try to do is we'll just take this command right here. Yeah, so let's go make a couple helper functions in here. We'll call this... Yeah, let's make a couple in here. So what we want to do is we're going to have like some Kerberos ones. We're going to have it list SPNs. We'll have that be one. And this is going to be from Power View. And then let's see. Actually, instead of domain recon, we're going to call this. We're just going to make a Kerberos command. Let's see. So what else did we have for AD search? Let's see. This is the first one here, which was for AS rep roasting. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this line out, throw that up in Notepad. Call this list AS. No, actually, I want to do this different. Let's do AS rep list targets. I'm going to change this one. Call this roast list targets. So we're just kind of planning out how we're going to do this. Targets. Typing is hard. Then what we're going to need here is this. Yeah, so we want to list those targets for rep roasting. What else do we have for AD searching? Actually, I'll tell you what, what we can do is actually just do this. Beacon. Let's go look at the beacon commands and we'll just make ourselves some helpers here. So first thing we did is Kerberos simple, which we don't want to do. That is not OPSEC safe. So SPNs list targets. I think that's what we called it. Oh, we called it roasting. Roast list targets. Yeah, AS rep list targets. Do it this way. I'm gonna keep it to that convention. Anytime you can come up with a logical grouping for what you're doing, so that, and it really is more important to you, especially since a lot of times you're going to be using these tools yourself, and when you're kind of developing these custom scripts, do it. And the reason for that is because it's going to help you think about it, and you're not going to have to try to do. Don't get real deep on it. Just be like, okay, hey, if I saw this later, how would I usually associate that? So you're trying to just play a game of probabilistic determination with your own brain. Trying to say, hey, if I saw it set up this way, how to do it. I did that a ton when I was doing my Cisco networking stuff. Is I tried to create very logical units inside the networks I had to build. So that way, it would be very simple for me to say, okay, all I have to do is just change the number in the third octet, and I'm good. And then I could hit all my VLANs in there or whatever. So that was listing our SPNs. Request a targeted TGS. So what we can do is actually we're gonna, yeah, what am I gonna call this though? Let's call this roast. Request user. Yeah, let's do that. Because then what we can do is we can actually just turn this one into $2 right here. Bam. Never gonna happen. I need to go get my hash cracking server back up for when this comes online. So I've got I have a little hash cracker that we used at work that didn't really get in a lot of use, so I brought it home, and it's not a very big box, But actually, I wasn't planning on using it for hash cracking. I was planning on using it for some AI development stuff. And really, the key there is having video RAM. The CUDA cores and throughput are great if you want to train models, which I might tinker with on that. Really, I'm going to do those on Cthulhu. Baby Cthulhu would actually be good for helping run models because they don't take a lot of processing power to run. They just take a lot of memory. And so Baby Cthulhu has two, I think, 1080 Ti's in it. And so it's got 20 or 24 gigs of video memory for that. So I can run some fairly good sized models with that. Typically, if you look at the model size and it says like 7B, 10B, 20B, whatever that is, that B value is how many billions of parameters it runs. And that's how many gigs of memory you're going to need, just about. It's a good approximation. Sometimes you can get what's called a quantized model, where it's slightly less precise, but the values become less, so you can cram more into memory, so you don't need that full size on it. But it would be good enough for some of the stuff I want to do with it, where I can just go test out a few things. Let's see. So this was finding our ASRep. This was searching for targets. And then actually performing the attack. So what we want to do is let's grab this. Oh, where do we do this? Okay. We're going to do ASRep. Request user. Cool, so we'll have that in there. And then let's go look at our notes again. I think because it's getting late, what we'll do is we'll scaffold this out. We'll have these going. And then Wednesday night, we'll actually go write all these functions out. And we're going to see how fast we can actually get these operations to run. Yeah, that'd be cute. That'd be super sweet. Let's see. So where's our notes? There we go. What was the next thing we did? Okay, so now after that, we're into unconstrained delegation. So what do I want to call that? Yeah, we'll call it that. Unconstrained delegation. And then what we want to do for that is... First thing we're going to do is find target machines. Which this is going to run AD search here. So there's going to be a couple of things we want to change in here, right? So like, for example, we're not going to have it run Rubius. We're going to have it probably maybe call our alias or something along the lines of what's in our alias. And same thing for AD search. So yeah, that's probably going to take a little bit longer than I want to spend tonight because I'm already tired, man. I didn't get my afternoon nap. Let's see. Yeah, so find targets. So after we find our target, what we're going to do is... So our target here is... Well, DC2 and the web server. So the web server had unconstrained delegation on. So once we're on there, we just want to triage it. It'd be really cool, though, like if we could triage and then say, hey, yeah, grab this particular ticket and just kind of have it automatically do it for us. That'd be neat, but I don't know how to do the string parsing well enough in sleep to pull that off. And I think by the time I figure it out, it'll probably already be time for the exam. And there's other stuff I would rather prepare for prior to it. So right here, this is it dumping the command. Create net only. Really what we can do though is we can take this create net only and we can add a ticket onto the end, but we don't need a specialized one for this. And the reason is because we already have a Rubius wrapper. So once we get to finding what targets have unconstrained delegation and pivoting into them, we can just use the Rubius wrapper to go run all the commands we need. These are not so unique that we need to do that. And you look at how many parameters we have to pass in here, right? We had to pass in the username, the domain, a password. Notice the password does not need to be a real password. This is just placeholders in memory for the local process. Because if you don't specify those, Rubius will actually create random ones. And that might be a big giveaway if there's a process running on a machine that is identified as a domain that doesn't exist inside your domain. That might be a red flag. And then we tell what program. So really, actually, we could do pass the ticket here too, where we just tell it /ticket, and it drops in the ticket for us. So we pass the ticket, we steal the token, then we get access. Oh, actually, you know what? This might actually be cool. We can actually run Rubius in monitoring. So, yeah, let's list this out real fast. Let's call this spool trigger. Call these spools. Because what we're going to do is we're going to run it for monitoring. Let's do that. So rather than running triage, which is a point in time, monitor will actually sit there and continually check for what is running on it. So essentially this only works on against a remote system. It's not going to work against a local system. So like we can't run the command and target the same box. I think there actually is a way to do it, but typically not. Usually we'd use this to go trigger something on a remote system. Let's see here. So if we do this, let's go grab a spool trigger. I drop that in here? Spool? No, let's do actually, I want to know if these get re-alphabetized. Like, will it become alphabetical mode? Because if so, I'm going to probably add an identifier in here, like an indexer, so that way I can remember like kind of what order they go in. So like, you know, hey, you want a list before you request. Find targets. Spool might be the only one where it has this issue. We're going to see. Wait, did we already run the spool trigger? Oh, that's Rubius monitor. This is the actual spool trigger. Let's take a look at this. Now, this one might be a little bit difficult because we're going to have to still wrap those in quotes. So let's do that. Let's see. I'm going to make a note about that. Spool trigger. So what we're doing is in this case, in this example, we were triggering DC2 to authenticate against the web server. That's what we're doing. Then we just wait to intercept the TGT. We get it. And there's actually a whole bunch of methods you can do for this. I call them, I don't know if this is a common term, but I call them coercion attacks. And what you do is you coerce a system into connecting back to you, or connecting to a different system. All right, then we have constrained delegation. So let's make some notes on this real fast. So we'll do. So we had unconstrained delegation, then we're going to have constrained delegation. We'll call this condel. Find targets. And all these are just going to be example commands we're going to use whenever we actually want to do this. So we find targets, which lists out, in this case, we listed out SQL2 had constrained delegation. Then we dump the targets. Then we perform the S4U2 self attack. I really need to go over this again, actually. This might be our stopping spot for the evening right here, because I know I need to go through this. And also, my advice I constantly give is never stop a project where you don't know where to start it immediately when you come back to it. So we're not going to come back to this tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're doing mentoring with Salty. Then we're going to come back to this on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're not coming back to this again either. We're doing mentoring with Salty. And then Friday night, I take off. I got to have some time to spend with the wife. Otherwise, she'll murder me in my sleep. As is right and just. But Saturday, we would come back to this again. So always make sure you're leaving off somewhere where you know where to pick up, right? Mark this. There used to be a way to like tell it to highlight it and mark it. Yeah, so I really want to go through this again, but I think that might be kind of where we're going to leave it off. It's the S4U2 attack. But you see, we still have a shit ton of notes over here. Look at all this. Still a bunch going through here. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Kerberos. And this is super handy also for whenever you're looking at Azure AD joined machines, because my understanding is they don't really use NTLM anymore. Everything's done over Kerberos. Right. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get a little bit more done. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put a note over on my side monitor that that's where we're picking up is with the S4U2 attacks. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to put it with. It's something called usually alternative service names is what we're going to be attacking in here. Okay. All right, I think that's probably, yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it off for now with this S4U attack scenario. Clean up the notes a little bit here. Because this is a way that you can abuse tickets to impersonate someone else, essentially. So, all right, let's go see if anybody's still online. Let's check our InfoSec streams. Nope. True to form, we are the last of the Mohicans up online. We are the true Night Owl hackers. I'm looking forward to, if I ever get the opportunity and I don't have to get up dog early, we'll actually stream much later. I'll extend the streams out. Because there's a lot to do, and I have a lot of fun with this. I like hanging out with y'all and going through this stuff. Let's go look and see who's on. If anybody has raid suggestions, drop them in the chat. Because I am not married to any particular idea here. I like to check people in science and tech first. Because science and tech is our home category. Let's go check. Let's see. Case might be closed. I wonder what he was working on. A milk-cooled PC. I'm guessing versus a Pepe-cooled PC? I have so many questions. But I don't know if I want answers. Is that his screen name, Hitman? Or... Oh, is he playing Hitman right now? Hitman World of Assassins. I will keep him as a secondary. I want to see... Let's see if anybody over in software and game dev is doing anything interesting. Because a lot of times there's people in there doing reverse engineering of games. And so they're pretty cool to watch. Actually, let me check something real quick. Let's see. I wonder if Meowpier's on. Because she's really cool. No, she's not. Actually, you know what? Grim is on, though. We might go right over to Grim. Because he's super chill. He maintains the Pigeon messaging client. And I have fond memories of Pigeon whenever I used it back in the day. Minecraft server and Rust. Interesting. See, anybody doing anything kind of fun looking at? Game dev, polishing, game dev, streamer bot and web design, general dev stuff. Super unmotivated study. Okay. That's a lot of folks over in game and software development. A lot of folks. Yeah. Grim did raid last time. I like Grim. He's a cool guy. Yeah, so we'll raid over to him because at least he's doing some techie stuff. If Grim wasn't online, I would have totally raided this Hitman guy. So, yeah, let's go right over to him. All right, everyone. Y'all have a freaking fantastic night. Tomorrow night, we're going to actually hop into Try Hack Me with Salty. We're going to look at a few things. It's not going to be super advanced stuff. It's going to be very basic because we have to shore up his knowledge for Linux based on what he knew from Greyhack. So we're going to take basically his framing of how to understand a Linux and navigate the operating system, and we're going to start actually putting some substance into it. Right now, he's kind of got a framework. We actually want to build into it. So, I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and set up the raid. When you get in there, drop a bunch of those eye patch emojis because I freaking love them.
User Ivan_Lim_86 is online.
Hey, Ivan, thanks for coming online, man. All right, there's Grim. Yep, he's on. And just to see him working on open source stuff is fantastic. So, all right, raid's prepping. All right, everyone, y'all have a badass rest of your night. We'll pick up again with some of this customized coding for Cobalt Strike on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, we're doing some Try Hack Me with Salty. So, you guys have a fantastic night. I love you. Peace.